keeping on watching, and today we're going to do a new video which will hopefully be of great use to everyone. It's going to be a very high level video on indices, what they are, how to use them, little bit of a deep dive on one particular indice. We'll try and keep this one short so everybody can consume it real quick. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Okay guys, we have the preliminaries out of the way. Let's talk about the topic of the day today, that is indices, right? Nifty 50 is a common term that you guys might have used, heard. Nifty, Sensex, what are these things, right? So we'll talk about that today. Okay, so what is really an index, right? An index is nothing but a group of stocks grouped together with a particular rule. That's about it, right? So there are many ways of grouping stocks together based on market size, based on sectors, based on themes, based on factors, right, such as momentum or value. So there's a lot of indices that are there out there, right? And there's international indices and there's domestic, right? So for India, there is Sensex, there's Nifty, there's Nifty IT, there's BSC Bank X, which nobody really talks about. There's small caps, large caps. Internationally, there is the S&P 500, the Dow, the Nasdaq, and then every country's got their own index. So there's a lot of indices out there, and they're used for many purposes, one of which is to compare against the rest of the stocks and to see how the market's doing on average, right? Like we can't, is the market doing well, is it doing badly? We use the benchmark index for that purpose, right? So the Sensex and the Nifty are the benchmark to see how things are doing. So that's what an index is. We'll deep dive a little bit into some of these terms, right? Okay, so Nifty is actually created by a particular group of the NSE, and there are lots of Nifty indices. When we usually say Nifty or Nifty 50, we mean one particular index, which is the 50 largest stocks, right? There's a certain rules to it, but we'll go through that. But there's a lot more indexes out there, even on the NSE side. So there's broad market indexes, which are Nifty 50, Next 50, 100, 500. And then there's the strategy based ones, which are the factor based ones, right? The equal weight, value, volatility, quality, things like that. Then there's sectoral, which is particular sectors, auto, bank, IT. And then there's the thematic ones, right? So a theme might be something like ESG or Sharia, which is the ones which don't do any hurt to animals and things like that, right? So there's multiple themes that you can follow, and you might hear people say, hey, if you don't know what you're doing in the market, go with a broad market index like a Nifty 50 or a Nifty 500 rather than a thematic, which will have its own cycles, right? And sectorals are also difficult because auto will have its own cycle. So unless you understand that cycle, you shouldn't be using them. A lot of these indexes don't really have ETFs or funds that follow them. So it's not always possible to invest in them directly. But some of them do, and we'll be talking about those which actually do, right? So also we'll talk about Nifty, the Nifty 500 and the breakdown within the Nifty 500, right? So there's the Nifty 50, which is the most popular one, then Nifty Next 50, which is the next 50 stocks, right? So Nifty 50 is the first 50 large cap stocks, then the next 50 is Nifty Next 50, together they are the Nifty 100. The next lot of stocks that comes in, the next 150 stocks, are called the Nifty Midcap 150. Even within that, you can have split up like Nifty 50 and Nifty Midcap 50 and Nifty Midcap 100. And the stocks smaller than that are Nifty Smallcap 250, which again has smaller indexes within it. And you can do a combination of these to make it Nifty 200, Nifty Large Mid 250, Nifty Mid Small Cap 400, right? So these are the 13 Nifty indexes that are there out there. Okay, let's talk about Nifty 50. This is the most common one. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive of why we might be interested in this. It is based on free float market capitalization methodology. It's been around since 1996, so that's a long time. It started at the base of 1,000. Now it's somewhere in the 18,000 range. So it's grown 18 times in these many years. Updates to it are made in real time. There are some indexes which are only updated at the end of the day. There's like 3 or 4 of them. And then there's rebalancing done every 6 months on this, right? So rebalancing means if the stock proportions change in the market because of growing and getting smaller, then every 6 months the Nifty gets updated to represent the market a little bit better. Nifty 50 actually represents 66% of the free float in the market. So it is pretty representative of the overall market, right? 66% is a majority. If you combine this with some others, you can actually get 95%. So 66% is a large number, which is why people might say, hey, just invest in the Nifty 50. You get a broad diversification, right? So that's where the Nifty 50 is. A large part of the trading, majority of the trading, 53% actually happens on stocks based in the Nifty 50. Why do we say it is diversified? You can see there's multiple sectors that it represents. Financial services currently has a very large weightage in it, but it's not always been the case. So as different sectors do better, they find a larger weightage within the Nifty. IT's been around in it for about 2 decades now. It's grown to 16%. Oil and gas used to be larger. Consumer goods is growing, and you can see there's a lot of sectors in here, and so you get a wide type of stocks that you're investing in. And the types of stocks that you get, currently Reliance, HDFC, Infosys, ICICI, HDFC make a large part of the index. The rest of the stocks will make up about 30-40%, but these top 10 stocks make up about 40% or 50% of the index right now, right? So they have a large say. So if Reliance falls a lot or goes up a lot, then the index will move with Reliance or move with HDFC. So this is the composition of the Nifty 50. Let's deep dive. I said there were some rules. I'm not going to go into the details absolutely, but this is the pulled from the NSE documentation. When can a stock be in the Nifty 50? There's certain rules. You can read through them, but this is the kind of rules that you have to qualify for. Only then you will make it into the Nifty 50. So you could be a large company, but if you're not in the FNO segment yet, you may not be eligible for Nifty 50. So things like that do happen. We spoke about semi-annual rebalancing. It happens on the 31st of January and 31st of July. And these are the rules for it. And index governance is taken care of by, as I said, committee on the NSE. Okay, so now let's talk about the Nifty Next 50, Midcap 150, and Smallcap 250, which we had on the second slide here. Just to tell you, it's got Nifty Next 50 has about 10% of the free float, so 66% of the Nifty, and then 10%, so 76% of the market is covered if you do the Nifty and the Nifty Next 50. So you get 76% coverage. If you add the mid caps into it, it goes up to 88-89% because Midcap 150 is 13%, and then the small cap is 6%. If you take the Nifty 500, which makes up all of these, you get about 96% of the market covered, right? Only 4% of the market is the remaining 5,000 odd stocks that are listed in the universe, right? There's about 5,000 stocks out there, so that's rest of the stocks are only 4%. You really don't have to bother about them at the moment. If you are focused on the Nifty 500, that's a large universe, large enough for you to invest in. Okay, so that is what we had on the indexes. I'll do more deep dives later, but I just wanted to give a high level overview because there's been a few questions in some forums. I hope you liked it. Please provide your feedback. Please like, please subscribe. Helps me know what kind of videos to make next. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good rest of your